Welcome to the Period Besties Podcast with Stasha and Katie. Think about it as chatting with your best friends about all the TMI stuff you've never talked about before with two period coaches who've been helping hormones collectively for over 20 years now. I'm Stasha.
And I'm Katie, and we're pulling back the curtain on what it's like in the world of menstrual coaching. From puberty to menopause and everything in between, we're here to show you how period coaching can save the day. We'll share practical tips and information you can put to immediate use to improve your hormones and happiness.
We're removing the mystery, ending the taboo, and shining a light on just how powerful period coaching can be.
So whether you need period coaching or are considering becoming a period coach yourself, these episodes are going to help you. We'll share stories, coach live on air, and bring smart, savvy guests to share their wisdom too. Let's start today's episode.
Welcome back, besties, for our Christmas in July. If you missed us yesterday, go back and listen. We talked all about 3 foods for ovulation. And today we're jumping into luteal and talking about our 3 top foods that we want to share with you today that are great for this phase.
Yeah, picking things that are hopefully mostly liked by people and easy to adapt for summer and winter, because we know some of our listeners are on the other hemisphere. So for luteal, we're going to kick it off with our sweet root veggies. So you're thinking sweet potatoes, carrots, like those bright oranges. Although I got some banging purple sweet potatoes, like purple all the way inside. Beautiful sweet potatoes.
Good.
So getting those rich antioxidant colors, especially in your luteal phase, stocking up as your immune system is starting to go down a little bit. Perfect time to get those beautiful sweet root veggies in and help kind of deal with those sugar cravings that come up in that luteal phase.
Yeah, I love cutting those up in like thin slices and putting coconut oil on that and cinnamon and baking them in the oven. Sometimes I'll bake them like more crispy or maybe softer, depending on what I'm needing in terms of chewing in that phase. Like if I'm feeling really stressed, like I'll make them a little more crispy. It really helps when you crunch on foods to relieve stress, but so yummy, really helps with those sweet cravings. My boys actually love them too. Put them in their lunches and it's super easy. Bake on 350, 10, 15 minutes, depending on your oven.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit longer. And they're so yummy. I love it. So even in the summer, like I don't eat them right out of the oven because they're maybe a little too warm, but pull it out, have it on the side with your lunch as a little snack. Are great, great tips. And in the winter, who doesn't want like warm, cooked, soft foods? I love it.
Absolutely. I often do the carrots in with my roasted veggies, summer and winter. Although when it's really hot in summer, then we just do raw carrots, hummus, raw shredded carrot salads, those kinds of things. But in the winter or even in the summer, as long as it's not too hot, I do just love roasted veggies. So we just do a sheet of roasted veggies and to make sure there's carrots on those. And I tend to like the sweet potatoes as dessert, even in the summer. So I often will bake a whole bunch of sweet potatoes and stick them in the fridge, which is also very good to give you some of that resistant starch, chilling your potatoes. So we'll do a big batch of them. And then I often just dice them up as dessert, add a little cinnamon, maybe a little whipped cream on top, a little powdered vanilla or nutmeg, pumpkin pie spice if you got it at the house, and just have it as a dessert that you're not adding sugar to. So there's no added sugar. It's a way of helping curve those cravings in this luteal phase before that real deep luteal craving kicks in. You're getting those sugars in, so it can really help. So think about that. Also, sweet potatoes are really good in a smoothie. So if you're in summer and it's hot and you want a little sweet potato kick in your luteal phase, try a sweet potato smoothie. Delicious. A sweet potato pie smoothie.
Yeah. They're so yummy. And they're so easy too to bake.
Absolutely.
So who doesn't want something easy?
Exactly.
Then we're going to chat about broccoli. I love broccoli. Again, just like arugula that we chatted about last episode, I could eat broccoli every day. I love it. I feel like it's so easy. Summer, raw broccoli with hummus, right? Adding it to any meal. And then in the winter, just cooked broccoli. Sometimes I'll add it in with my sweet veggies and roast a bunch of broccoli too.
Mhm.
Add it to power bowls, either warm in the winter, cooler in the summer, great for salads. I honestly love it as a snack too. Like it's one of my favorite things to do in the summer is even like for lunch, just getting a bunch of different veggies with hummus and
Mhm.
having, I don't know, more of a European relaxing type of lunch. Like it really, really does help.
Absolutely, as you should. Yeah, I had forgotten about the broccoli salad too. And
Mm.
then at my bridal shower, a southern woman, my friend's mom, was helping make some foods, and they made just a kick-ass broccoli salad. And I was like, oh gosh, I have to remember that this summer. So we've been doing some broccoli salads. And yes, just roasted in the winter is so good. We get frozen broccoli from Costco because the dogs also love frozen broccoli as treats. So we keep frozen broccoli around for us, but also for the dogs. So whenever we get broccoli out, everyone gets broccoli.
Oh my God, I love that. I feel like my dog will eat anything but something green.
I think mine will eat anything as long as it's frozen. So. And lastly, we have squashes. Now, in your luteal phase, you go from that kind of late summer feeling, and then we're going to talk about deep luteal tomorrow, but deep luteal is that autumn phase. So remember, squashes go from summer to winter squashes. So in this phase, this beginning of the luteal phase, you might want to do some of those summer squashes, zucchinis and yellow squash and those kinds of things. And then pumpkin and moving into those fall squashes as you move through luteal phase. Just let your body tell you when you're like, ooh, I'm ready to move into a harder winter squash. Whip out the butternut squashes or the delicata squashes. Delicata is kind of my transitional squash. That's when I go from like the summer squashes, but not quite ready for like the deep pumpkins and butternuts yet. That's my delicata crossover squash.
Yeah. And it's so interesting because I think a lot of people might not associate like zucchini and yellow squash sometimes as squashes, even though squash is in the name, the yellow
Yep.
squash, but it seems like such a summer food.
Yeah.
Right. And then we get into the fall and the winter. But if you're really eating within the seasons and shopping within the seasons, when you walk into the grocery store, whatever's in season is usually right when you walk in.
Yeah.
So that's a really great way to focus on what squashes are in season.
Yeah.
Too. So if you're thinking about going into the winter and like what you're going to be doing, it's like those are what's out there. So I always think that's like an interesting point that a lot of us might not even think about, but that's how the grocery stores are actually trying to help us eat within the season.
Yes, absolutely. And they're so versatile. Salad, soups, stews, bakes, roasts. You can do anything with them. A lot of them are great substitutes for sugary desserts. So just thinking they're sweet, roasted veggies can often be a good dessert substitute. So when you're trying to cut back on your sugar or trying to quell those sugar cravings before they start, which is what you want to be thinking about in this phase, just remember your yellows, your oranges, your roasted, they all end up making nice desserts that you don't really have to add sugar to, or pop them after you've cooked them into smoothies to help sweeten your smoothie without adding honey or sugar or agave or any of those things.
Yeah. And I actually in the summer really love like a cool butternut squash soup
Yes.
with a little bit of olive oil. I'm all about the olive oil today on top. But it's also really refreshing, but it gives me that like deep rooted feeling as well. So I actually really like that in the summer too.
I just do a little sprinkle of feta cheese on top.
Well, that's a good idea.
Yum.
Everything's better with feta.
Right? I mean, you can't go wrong with cheese.
Yeah, I love cheese. I love feta too, especially. It's one of my favorites.
Amazing. All right. So, luteal, today we talked about sweet root veggies like your sweet potatoes and carrots, your brassicas, broccoli in particular, because it's just such a good one. And then our squashes. Come back tomorrow and we're going to dive into our top 3 foods for deep luteal.
Bye for now.
A big shout out and thank you to our sponsors for today's episode, Period Coaching School and Katie Bressick Wellness.
Thanks to you, our favorite bestie, for listening to the Period Besties Podcast, where no topic is TMI. And of course, share this episode with your besties.
Remember to leave us a 5-star review, nothing less than the best for us besties, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
You can follow us on Instagram at Stasha Washburn and at Katie Bresak, or email us at periodbestiespodcast@gmail.com.
Check out more about us at katiebresak.com and periodcoachingschool.com. And of course, check the show notes for free goodies and extras that support this episode.
We'll see you on the next episode.
Bye for now, besties.